Aloha and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson, coming to you from Hawaiian beaches on the beautiful big island of Hawaii. Thank you so much for joining. I love you. I appreciate you. Yay.
I love that picture of you. That
And we
pic-
already have, what's up, Lori?
that picture of you was it reminded me of me. I
Oh, yeah, it's similar. I saw some of your photos too.
Yeah, it's so funny.
80s girls, Madonna Bee.
Madonna.
Madonna Bees.
um, so Peter and I were on the kayak on Sunday, and my nephew was here over the weekend, and we talked it was awesome. God, he's so open for being 19 years old. It was amazing.
That happens, yeah.
All these questions and okay, so I put him there to ask me these questions, obviously. And
Of course.
um, he asked me if I was happy.
Okay.
And I was really taken aback by that. I I didn't know how to at first I was like, well, that's doesn't isn't it obvious? And then when Peter and I were kayaking, I realized that happiness it just comes and goes.
Sure.
It's like that's not the goal here. It's not about I always thought that that was the goal. It's about being happy, and that's
Uh-huh.
not it.
Yeah.
That's not it. It comes and goes just like any other emotion.
Yeah, and it's not real too. That's the other thing. You could say that happiness is a reflection of the joy that you are. Yeah. You could
Yeah,
say
because
that happiness is a reflection of that. But in dreaming, other emotions show up for reinterpretation. And that's what brings back the happiness, the reinterpretation.
all right, what's reinterpretation mean? What do you mean?
Well, okay. Well, basically, any emotion, any disturbed emotion that arises is is just knee-jerk reaction taken as what's interpreting your experience, what you're using to interpret your experience. See? And so if you use that to interpret your experience, you use that disturbed emotion to interpret your experience, it's saying, "Oh, this is this." You know. But any disturbed emotion can be reinterpreted, you know, under the guidance, you could say the guidance of the truth, of what's true. And that's what allows happiness to return.
Can you got an example in your life?
Well, all the time. Basically all the time. When it seems like happiness is elusive,
Okay.
like it's something else, maybe it's sadness, maybe it's anger. It's all the same actually. It's all feeling manifestations of fear, really. See? And it comes along with thoughts that justify it. And, if that's used to interpret your experience, then that perpetuates it. That emotion is used to interpret your experience. I can give you one example that's coming to mind from when I was a little kid. Um, I was looking at my thumbs, and it seemed to me that they were a little bit different. And I was feeling sad. And I thought that sadness was because my thumb seemed different. Yeah. So I kept it going and going. I kept on perpetuating it to it until I was actually depressed. I was feeling depressed. And my dad had to take me for a walk so I could like kind of feel better about my thumbs. But it wasn't really about my thumbs. It was just that I was using that emotion to interpret my experience as if something was wrong. So it's
Mm.
like when you recognize that an uncomfortable emotion and anything that's unhappy any unhappy feeling basically means that I'm believing something right now that's not true.
Period.
And that opens it up for reinterpretation. See? It could be interpreted with intelligence. One way of putting it, the way it's put in the Course in Miracles, is to ask for the guidance of the Holy Spirit instead of going with the guidance of the ego.
Basically, show me or let me see.
Yeah, because like I shared before, happiness is one way of saying, joy. But a lot of the times happiness, it has its opposite because it's dependent on experience, on your circumstance, on your interpretation of circumstance. See? And then that makes it not really true. Makes it a false feeling if it's dependent on circumstance. Yeah. The joy that you are is not dependent on any circumstance. And that's really the only true emotion. That's only, think of emotion as energy in motion. So that reflects who you really are. That reflects the truth. Anything short of that is up for reinterpretation. See? It's not that it's wrong. It's not that you want to try to get rid of it. The number one is do not want. And here's another way of saying, if you find yourself wanting, it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
See? That leaves it open for reinterpretation as well, because it's that resistance that makes things real. It's that resistance that even makes wanting real. That's not even real. But that's always what it is. It's making these illusions real that makes people upset. You make it real, you make yourself upset. That's all. So yeah, an attitude of show me is really helpful.
Right. Or the last one you said was let me see. I like that one.
Yeah, let me see.
And I've
Yes,
also
that one's been very, very powerful.
totally admitting that it is a dream. This is a dream. I say it,
Yes.
I don't know how many times a day. It's just a
Yeah,
dream.
so totally, yeah. And when you have an upset feeling, that seems to be present, you're mistaken.
Right.
So admit that you're mistaken. You're not right about the interpretation that you're making right now. That person, place, or thing isn't wrong. Nothing is wrong. I noticed today some people were expressing disappointment. I'm on a group, and for people who live in a certain place, certain area around here, I guess the government's saying they're not going to rebuild our highway because we're in lava zone 1, so they're not going to rebuild the highway. And a lot of people expressing disappointment. And that disappointment has to be held. It can only be held with the idea that you're right. You have to be right that this is bad. You have to be right that this is a bad thing. That's not leaving it open to reinterpretation. If you leave it open to reinterpretation, number one, you'll find out that nothing's wrong. And you'll find out that you were wrong about thinking something was wrong. And number two, you'll be able to respond if that's what's helpful in the situation. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of fighting. It doesn't even matter how it looks. It's just you fighting yourself because nothing's actually happening. See? So you're not anything that could be happy or unhappy. You're not anything that could be that. You're all that you perceive yourself to be in the dream is a dream image.
Right.
And there's only this moment. So if you're feeling unhappy in this moment, then it's time for reinterpretation. It's time to ask for reinterpretation. And when you're feeling joy for no apparent reason, then it's time for celebration.
Yeah. No interpretation needed.
Right. No reinterpretation needed. Exactly. And there's the kind of happiness that's dependent on something. And that's not really, that's not a real feeling.
dependent
It's
on
it,
like a relationship or getting a new car or a new house or something outside of you.
yes, like I'm so happy about this. That's dependent on circumstances. You can guarantee that the other side is going to come around again.
Yep.
Yeah, so that also, if you choose, you can make open for reinterpretation and everyone will choose it eventually. It's only a matter of time, and that's what time is for.
But time isn't real.
That's what it's made for, though. It's made for realizing. It's made for realizing what is real and true. Because when the body dies and this dream comes to an end, there's still the guilty consciousness.
Yeah.
That's what makes more dreaming. That's what
Yeah.
makes more dreaming. So it's through the dream and it's through you could say, the form of time. It's through the form of time that realization can occur and will occur for everyone. That's the thing. Will occur for everyone, and everyone will wake up back where they always were, knowing that it was just a dream. See?
Uh, Boy, this alludes to what you said last week too. Boy, it was so good last week. I can't tell you how many times I listened.
Thank you. That's really good for my ratings on YouTube. No, that's awesome. No, I'm glad you keep on reiterating. If something feels powerful to you, to keep it reiterating to yourself, as long as it's interesting to you, is very helpful.
All of it was very interesting, and I felt really good about it. And then when we were kayaking again, Peter said something which made a hell of a lot of sense. Um, and it was sent me into a tailspin.
You're so fun with your
Really
tailspin.
reinterpretation as I see right now. But
Uh-huh.
it was it was about somebody else, like you're telling me how to think. How different would this be than a religion or anything outside of me that's trying to?
Well, of course. Of
Yeah.
course. That's obvious. So the only reason you feel like it sends you into a tailspin is because of identification. I mean, if you're not identifying with a person and someone says something, identifying as a person and someone says something like that, you could just get the feeling. It doesn't have to go in. The tailspin is the thinking, 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 thinking.
Right.
You know, if you just get the feeling, it's like, oh, that's obvious. Of course. It's when you're trying to tell someone how to think, unless they're asking for it, they're asking for your experience, basically, or your counsel, you could say. They're
Yeah.
asking for your counsel, you know, and you're providing it. But when you're in these kinds of matches, it's kind of like a match, it's kind of like competition. It's only because you feel like you need validation from him.
Right. It was like I put him there to test me, right? Is where
Yep.
and I failed.
Well, no, you wouldn't say that because there's no such thing as that. There's
Right.
no such thing. There's no such thing as failure. It's just that when you're talking to him and trying to convince him of something, you're looking for that validation, which you don't need, but you're looking for the validation because of being unsure.
Yes. Oh,
And that's
that's
okay. You just get the feeling of it. Just get the feeling of it. And if you're willing to just be quiet, just be
true.
quiet about it. You know, if you're willing to be quiet about it, he'll start to see. Because, just like Jesus said, by their fruits you will know them. See? So if you're willing to be quiet about it, it can flower in your own mind.
By their fruit.
By their fruits you will know them, just like how a tree bears fruit.
Oh.
See? It's like how a tree bears fruit. So it's kind of like saying by the way you relate,
No.
you know, you stop to um, you stop to carry on agitation. You might sense agitation, but you stop to carry on agitation and justify it. You stop to try to convince people. See, there's no one that you need to convince. Anyone who wants to know will come to you and want to know.
Mm.
So, sometimes I might find myself just throwing something out there, and if there's defensiveness, it'll be like, oh, never mind. You know?
What do you mean? If there's defensiveness from you?
Well, you could say that all of the defensiveness comes from my own mind.
Right.
So when I'm speaking with someone else, it seems like someone else,
Yeah.
that's all my own mind. There are parts of my own mind that are not ready to hear this.
Uh,
And it doesn't help to force it on them.
right.
So when I get the sense of defensiveness, it's just like, oh, never mind.
Ah. Because
See?
you weren't ready to hear it.
Right. And you can't, it's just, look at, in the dream, the mind is diluted. You could say the mind is diluted in the dream.
Yeah.
So there are different aspects of it, and the mind in its entirety will discover, but it's not like it's up to me to teach it. There's no one to teach. We'll discover according to the openings that occur. And each one, you could say each microcosm of consciousness in the mind will open in its own time.
Mm.
Okay, so when it's not up to you to convince, basically he just calls you on, you're trying to convince me of something, you're telling me how to think.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no need for that. If you sense the defensiveness, I mean, I'm sure before that he showed some signs of resistance to whatever you're talking about, then there's no need to go further.
Yes. I need to see the signs before.
well look. Well look. The thing, the pointer that's coming up right now is just relax.
Yeah.
Just relax. Even if it seems all agitated on the surface, as in you seem agitated on the surface, just relax with that. See, if you get that feeling of agitation, you don't have to express it. You only have to express it because you're not allowing that feeling to intensify within your own body's energy field, and that's what's motivating it to be projected. See? So the projection is a projection of you trying to convince someone about something. That's
Yeah.
like projecting the agitation instead of just embodying that agitation and being quiet. See?
Mm.
You can't help it. It's like consciousness is going to make you say and think and do according to how you take it, how you relate with it. Remember, it's all consciousness relating with thought. So
Right.
it's according to how you're relating to it in that instance. If you're resisting the agitation, you want to try to cure the agitation by getting him to validate you.
Mm.
So, and you don't need that. You never need that. If
Good,
you
because I can't get it.
what's that?
I said good. I'm glad I don't need it because I am not getting it.
Good. Good. I mean, that's the biggest blessing, I see is when there's someone who's close to you and they don't want anything to do with it.
That's it.
That's a huge blessing, because it's the thoughts like, oh my gosh, I got to help them and stuff like that. That's all delusion.
Mm.
There's
Yeah.
no one there. There is no one there like that. There's all it is a reflection. And here's the thing, Lori, Like I shared earlier on Facebook, it's like everyone that you perceive is also dreaming. Also dreaming. You're not perceiving anyone who's not dreaming from within the dream. We're all dreaming. Okay? That's the deal. But in reality, in truth, we haven't stopped being where we are. Haven't stopped being who we are, and we're all still creating in reality. In reality, in the dream, we're projecting. In the dream, everyone you meet is a dream figure and having a dream. But in reality, we have not moved from our present state. We have not moved from that present state. So everyone that you perceive does not need your help, because they have not moved from their present state, and their dream from their perspective is completely orchestrated by them.
For
So
them.
leave them alone. Leave them alone. Let their dream be their dream. Okay? And only if they're asking for your counsel.
Right. Okay.
This weekend I had the experience. I went traveling with my family and met with my family who lives on the mainland, and visiting with one family couple in particular, where the woman was ridiculously receptive. I told her, this is a dream world, and the real world still exists. Talking to her like that, and she's like, and just completely like, tell me more,
Yeah.
And then her husband, who happens to be my brother, he comes out. He's like, Hope, I don't want to work, but I know I have to work, and I'm trying to decide, should I work or should I not? And I go, well, you don't really have a choice. And immediately some defensiveness came up, and I just go, okay, never mind.
He's gonna either work or not work.
He explained it how he definitely has a choice, and he's got to make a choice. And I just go, okay.
Yeah, I see that clearly.
Then there's no conflict. It's like he can look at me like I'm weird. I don't have to explain myself.
No.
And we have a beautiful, loving, kind, gentle, full of appreciation relationship. He may or may not think that's a little bit weird. That I think that you don't have a choice. And throughout he would make little comments about, see, that's a choice, and I just go, okay. See, no worries. No worries. You don't make yourself into something to argue with. You don't give yourself anything to argue about. And if you do, it's okay, because it's all an experience. It's all an experience for awakening. But it's just one experience, so there's no past experiences. Isn't that for fun? There's just right now.
Yeah.
There's just right now. So you don't have to take anything with you that's a memory of impression into this moment. And you can still have a beautiful relationship, can relate beautifully with all your friends, family, and loved ones, no matter what.
Right. No matter what.
Yeah, and that's how you'll recognize the happiness keeps on coming back. And it stays. It stays for the most part. And when it does, and when any kind of lack of joy, love, you say truth in the moment arise, it's exciting, because it's an opportunity for reinterpretation and even more joy and even more connection. See?
Well, I noticed.
Excited.
I noticed when I don't know, there was something that happened between Peter and I over the weekend, and I could feel the distance. that
Great.
I was putting. Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but I could see there was a not wanting to. There was, I don't know, putting a wall up or something. I don't know. Not wanting to, blocking the love, I guess. It was a block
Okay. Okay.
for a short amount of time, and it wanted to hang on to it.
Uh-huh. You need some belief going for that
Yep.
to happen, for that wall to stay up.
Yeah.
It takes support. You have to have support for that wall to stay up, and those support in the form of belief.
Yep. Support for the wall. Huh.
That's right. That's
Yep.
right.
And then
You
it
have
just,
to uphold it.
yeah, but it went away.
Yeah, that's what happens. It's just like an energy wave. That wall, all it is like an energy wave. And if you buy into it, it's like you strengthen the wall, basically strengthening your defenses.
Hmm.
If
And
you,
if held in the memory, then it will stay.
yeah,
It'll keep staying. So that's what you mean about reinterpretation.
yes,
So if you reinterpret it, if you
yes.
see exactly what it was about, which right now I can't think about it, it's gone.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. That's wonderful.
But if there was reinterpretation, if there was an asking for it being reinterpreted, it can
Yes,
you
if you're saying, let me see,
let me see.
even help me. I've used help me, Jesus, before,
Yeah.
you know, and what else? I could have peace instead of this.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
it's true. You don't have to just willy-nilly let all the emotions come and stay as long as they want. You remind yourself you could have peace instead of this. You get the reinterpretation. It's only while that emotion is present, apparently present, because remember, it's not even real. It doesn't exist. It's a dream
Well,
emotion.
that's another thing I could say. This is a dream.
Yes. Whatever works for you, the words don't matter. Whatever works for you to get that reinterpretation. And when you get that reinterpretation, you could sense it in the body's energy field. Like you have a feeling of pressure in your body's energy field. And when you get the reinterpretation, there's a lightness that takes its place that you could sense. And it's different from emotion. It's different from emotion. It's like an energetic movement. It's almost like in my case, I feel it going up. It's going up and out through the crown. It may feel different to you, but you will feel a heaviness, and then that when the reinterpretation comes, a lightness. Okay?
Mm. So basically, just by being open to something else
Yes.
besides what is being felt in that moment, it it can just turn on a dime, just
Yes. Your
disappear.
feelings are not facts.
Mm,
They don't point to anything real. They're completely meaningless.
I love that.
Isn't that wonderful? It's freedom. Because, the common way that we learn is to take feelings as interpretation of how your experience is. For instance, I have one friend who told me, yeah, I don't know why, but I was looking at this guy and I just thought that he was creepy. And then I go, there's a feeling that feels like he's creepy. And then I go, is that really so? And then decided to have that reinterpreted. And that feeling wasn't there, and I was able to have a conversation with him.
Oh, that's so cool.
And here's the thing, no one is what they seem. So to another person, or to you could say to everyone else in the whole world, that person could be a creep, but not for you. Not for you, because
Once
you didn't
interpreted,
interpret it that way.
right. Once it's reinterpreted, it's not.
And yeah, it
No.
changes everything. Everyone is in your perception. That means you have full dominion.
Mm-mm-mm. That's what
You're all,
by full dominion.
Yeah, full dominion. That's right.
Wow. I never understood that before, but I feel the expanse of that.
Okay, good,
Wow.
good. Yeah, because everyone can make a transition within your sight.
So, Hope, can I ask a question? Doesn't that sort of mean if you say someone has full dominion, isn't that like saying you have a choice?
You always have a choice. Just not a, you just don't have a choice in what you're gonna do or say. See? But you gotta know that in every instant you have a choice. See? You could say, I've said it a lot of different ways. Right now I'm saying it. You're either open for a reinterpretation or you're leaning to your own understanding. That's a choice.
The own understanding is from the conditioned belief that we're a separate person doing all of this.
Yeah, like what I feel is real. Like what
Right.
I feel is the truth.
Yeah.
This feeling that says that, you know, it shouldn't be this way is the truth.
Hmm.
I'm disappointed because you need a reason for these feelings.
Right.
You got to lean to your own understanding. See? I've even had the instance where I've felt the feeling first and then look for the reason and find it.
To
See?
justify. Yeah.
To justify it. You got to justify it. So there, you might notice the feeling first, but not far behind that is justification.
Yep. Not far. It's almost immediate.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the times you might notice the justification beforehand, but you might also notice a feeling wave arise and then notice the justification after the fact. In truth, it's the feeling that's projecting the thought in the first place. Because the only thing that's making these ill feelings arise is that existential fear. It's terror for believing that you separated yourself from creation.
And
See?
a lot of it is guilt.
Well, yeah, well that's it too, because if you separated yourself from creation, then who's guilty?
Right.
See?
Right.
It's
Ooh.
anger, fear, guilt all wrapped up, and all of the justifications for the feelings, the ill feelings that you feel, are completely false. They're just showing up to make it as if that's the cause. They're really arising as a reflection of that existential upset. Like as if you're separated from the creator, as if you're not an extension of the creator.
To show you.
What's
Through,
that?
it's actually to show you through it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's why when you get the reinterpretation, that's helping you to wake up. So it's sort of like we dug in deep. We dug in deep to make it seem like this is so real.
Right.
Taking these different emotions as meaningful again and again and again and again. So it's dug in really deep. As there's the reinterpretation, the energy field, the body's energy field is shifted. So the dream itself becomes a happier dream. And that's the you could say that's the beginning of waking up. And let me say too that there is no journey of awakening. That's also part of the dream. Okay? At some instant, there's just waking up. Boom. There is no more. Like you see that all of this that you perceive, it's sort of like a stage. It just disintegrates. And what's left is what's always been. All of the people that you perceive, they just turn to light, and what's left is what's always been. No one's even left out. There's no one even left out. That's why everyone in your mind has to go first.
Yeah, I love that last week. They
Yeah.
go first because
Yeah.
they wouldn't be there unless your mind is believing in this dream.
Yes.
Hmm.
They're there to reflect the dream state for you.
Yeah.
And the same with you. So it's like letting them to go first, letting it all be, letting it all be, knowing that they're fine. They don't need any help. They don't need any help from you. You might have the perception of yourself helping because that's the way consciousness is moving you, but don't ever buy into the belief that they actually needed your help.
Yeah.
That's when it's kind of like the opposite of helping, because that's when you're harming yourself.
Right, because you're believing they need help. Yeah.
Yeah,
But they're not
you're
whole.
taking them as something they're not. Yeah.
And which is in turn sees that you're not
Yes.
whole and
It's
complete.
seeing yourself that way. It's
Wow.
seeing yourself that way. So, one beautiful thing about that is you don't have to make yourself hang out with anyone because you think they need you.
Wow.
You can just go with joy.
But it's funny that all of a sudden everybody wants to hang out with you. God, all the time.
Yeah, and when there's a relentless following joy, going with joy, having the reinterpretation, then you're going to be wherever is the most joyful,
Right.
with
Yeah.
whomever it brings up the most joy
Right.
with you.
Seems to be most people for me,
Wonderful, wonderful.
except for the closest ones.
And see that's how it is. That's how it is. Because those are the ones that you need to be around. The ones that are the closest with you. You see yourself that you see for yourself that you're not motivated to move away from them. If you were, you would be. Okay? If you were, you would be moving away from them. But you're not. You're motivated to be with them. And that brings me to another question. But I have seen some other hands and some other people want to get in on this. So I'm going to move along. And of course, raise your hand again if you'd like to speak with me.
Okay.
I love you.
Love you.
Aloha. I saw a hand earlier and it went down. So if you'd like to still speak with me, let me know. I also have a lot of questions that are written down today. I don't see the raise. Okay. I know what you're going to say, but would you like to talk with me? Okay. Okay. I'll open up your mic then. Aloha.
Aloha, Hope.
Yay. Thanks for coming on.
So I've been listening for the last couple of weeks, but I haven't been talking.
Okay.
And I've been in a pretty good place.
Uh-huh.
Things have been pretty even keel, and now they're not. And I'm really uncomfortable. And
Okay.
right. And so I'm noticing the behaviors that don't make me feel good are back, and not wanting to leave the house, and procrastination, and all of that stuff that comes along with what I perceive as not wanting,
Yeah.
or as behaviors that are not acceptable.
Yeah.
And I'm uncomfortable and I want out.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Because see, that's just the only thing that's being missed there is the recognition that it's an illusion and it's all okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's all okay. The wanting out, the uncomfort, all of that, it's not been allowed to be okay. It's clinging again. It's clinging to a comfortable feeling. It's not in an attitude of let me see. It's an attitude that I know this is not good.
Yeah, it's definitely being judged.
Yeah. So that's what makes it into a form of suffering. See, none of this has to be suffering for you. Even the not wanting to go out of the house, it does not have to be suffering for you. It's just taking it as if something's wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
The not wanting to go out of the house is not a problem unless you make it into a problem. The not being on point or whatever it is that you said is not a problem unless you make it into a problem.
So the problem is the uncomfortable feelings, sensations.
Well, that's no problem either.
Ah, it's such a rub. It's so uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, see how your voice changes like that? See how
Yeah.
your voice changes like that it's as if something's wrong with this uncomfort. And nothing's wrong. This is just coming up for you. If you make it into something wrong, you make it into something, you're not allowing it to pass. You're not allowing it to ride out. You're not allowing it to reveal something to you. And the reason it's sticking around is because it showed up to reveal something to you. But then once you saw it, you said, no, I don't want this. Number one, that's making it real. And number two, it's resisting what you've made real.
Right.
That makes the uncomfort perpetuate. You can be completely comfortable within the uncomfort. It's all anything you get, any perception that you have, it's always for healing, and it is healing if you say so.
Okay.
But you're gonna experience it as this ongoing kind of stuckness if you say it's not. If you say it's wrong or bad. And here's the thing. Every time you get into a situation where, oh, this feels so good, then you attach to it. You've been attaching to it.
Right.
You're
Okay.
always asking for the opposite when that happens. See? I guess you could say the energy that you're looking for, one way of putting it. Remember, this is all pointing and nothing I say is true. Energy that you're looking for, what I'm sharing with you is that nothing is ever wrong. Nothing's ever wrong with you. No feeling, even if it's a feeling of uncomfort, lack of joy, whatever, I talk about it like, hey, that's an opportunity for reinterpretation. It does not mean that something's wrong. You can't get the reinterpretation, though, if you take it as wrong, because now you're leaning to your own understanding that says this is wrong. See?
Well, so it's just started with this is uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And then the uncomfortableness I noticed wanted out. Like I wanted out of that.
Okay.
Right.
So there was something that you deemed uncomfortable?
Yes.
Okay. Well, see, that's really wonderful, because when you see that there's something that you deemed uncomfortable and recognize that there's no way anything can be uncomfortable. The uncomfort is coming all by itself. Look, there's no relation between the thing that seems uncomfort and your sense of uncomfort. There's no relation between those two things. It only seems like that. That's the illusion.
Okay.
That there's a relation between those. There's no relation. There's no relationship between those. Okay. And it seems like it, okay, like in my experience, it seems like when it gets cold, when the environment gets cold,
yeah,
all of a sudden I feel cold. I remind myself that that's not possible. There's no relation between the two. There's no relation between the two. That uncomfortable feeling of cold, that's not a good cold. I know some people are like, oh, thank goodness it's cold. No, but an uncomfortable cold, there's no relation between the weather and the feeling cold, actually. No relation between the two. So that's not what's causing my uncomfort. And whatever it is that you're saying caused your uncomfort, that's what's making it stick, because now it has a cause. that you made up. See?
Oh.
You give it that, you know,
Uh-huh.
you're not acknowledging that that arose for you. You're not acknowledging that that feeling of uncomfort came spontaneously, not because of something. The uncomfort was already there. It's just that that thing that seems to have made you be uncomfortable was projected really after the fact
Okay. Yeah,
to
you just,
give it a reason.
yeah. Okay. So I was
Okay?
uncomfortable, and then the situation showed up, and now I'm more uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's how it gets perpetuated because you believe in the situation as if it's the cause of the uncomfort, and it's not. You know, when you're open to seeing that you cannot have uncomfort without projecting it, it shows you, it shows itself to you. You have to be open to that though. There's a lot of defenses built around that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's holding on saying this did it. This is the reason for it. And now, wow, this really took me out of my happy-go-lucky place too.
Mm-hmm.
And how do I get back? And
Right.
the thing is like it's the embodiment of that uncomfort that allows it to play out, and it will actually reveal to you. You don't have to look for it. You don't have to look for it. Also comes spontaneously. It'll reveal to you what you took to be true about yourself that makes that uncomfortable feeling.
Okay.
Okay. But nothing's wrong. That's the big thing. That's such a big thing. There's nothing wrong with laying in bed and eating ice cream or whatever you happen to be doing over there.
How did you know?
I didn't. I've had that practice before.
I
You know?
haven't had it in a while, and it kind of threw me for a loop.
Uh-huh. Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Don't buy into you won't have it because you haven't had it in a while. Watch what happens. What happens when you start to see that these things are just fluctuations of the mind. They don't last. They can't.
They can't.
They can't last. There's nothing to stick to. They're only sticky because you're taking it as if it's something you're making it meaningful.
And if I wasn't attached to it being so good, this wouldn't have showed up. Right.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. See, when you're not attached to it being good, it's almost like you're watchful. Say you're watchful. You're looking for anything that comes up because the emotions are always fluctuating. It's a fluctuation in the energy body. And you're not trying to paint some kind of picture. You're letting the fluctuations just arise and being watchful, alert to these fluctuations. And when something reveals itself as less than joy, you're ready. You're just on the ready. It's like you're not sleeping. You're not going to rest like that. It's a different kind of rest. It's more of an alert restfulness.
So then how does that play into, or not play into, but then like making decisions about things, or you don't make the decisions, they just show up. Like you say, you'll find yourself doing like swimming or doing yoga, or it'll just be happening.
Yeah, the idea that we make any decisions or choices about surface things, even what to say, is an illusion.
Yeah, it is.
We're not making that's actually the past playing out, past impressions playing out. So the only thing for right now is to let any upset feelings be reinterpreted, and then all of your actions will be guided by that reinterpretation instead of the interpretation that you made, which is only perpetuating the dream state.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay?
Got it. Thank
I
you.
love you.
I love you too. Thank you.
Okay. Enjoy.
Huh?
If anyone else would like to speak with me, please raise your hand. I am opening my notes at the moment. I've got a lot of notes for this one. I got question after question. And if you want to raise your hand or you want to write something to me during the question, please go ahead. Let me see if I can get this front and center here. All right, here we go. When I get an uncomfortable reaction in the body or just feel a sense of old energy, mental containers releasing, how do I make sure to fully feel it and let it intensify? Well, this is more of a non-doing than a doing, okay? The doing is to try to explain it, to make it wrong, to try to get something. It's going to intensify on its own. You're going to be able to feel it on its own if you're leaving the thoughts about it, just leaving them alone. You know, as in not making them meaningful, letting them arise and letting them pass away. Again, without making them meaningful. You're going to get the full sensation. You're going to get all of the intensity that you can handle. And when you can't handle it anymore, you know what? You'll find yourself projecting again. Projecting is the doing. The intensity, that'll happen all on its own. Projecting is the doing. Projecting is sending the intensity temporarily to something that appears outside of yourself. Okay, so there's nothing to do. Often it seems like it feels shitty, but it's kind of cloaked up and it can't release or be felt fully. Okay, that's okay. All right, that's okay. If it cannot be felt fully, it's okay. The main thing here, the main thing in all of this is it's okay. All right? Because when you make something meaningful, then that's what holds it to you. It's kind of like it's all cloaked up. Okay, it being all cloaked up is also part of the dream. Everything that's part of the dream, let it be. And there's nothing that's not part of the dream. Isn't that fun? Leave it alone. Let it do its thing. What's happening, or what's apparently happening, is that there's not allowing these things to play out. They could just play out, no problem. But there's not allowing these things to play out. There's this sense of doership, like I need to do something about it. It's kind of like there's a river of bliss beneath all of this. Beneath all of this, it's happening on the surface, and you could just rest there. It's kind of like you can rest there, and all of the surface tension, anxiety, fears, whatever, they're just playing on the surface. You're resting, restful yet alert, restful yet alert, not pulling the wool over your eyes, so to speak. Okay? Not trying to make it seem like it's something that it's not. If it seems to be cloaked, then fine, that's what it is. Okay? You don't have to try to get somewhere. That trying, that's the habit. It's trying to get somewhere, that's the habit that's been taught and learned. There's really real intense sadness with tears or burning anger arising. It's more like an empty or nauseous numbness in the belly, and then it passes, but it also often takes quite a while. That's okay because time is an illusion. That's okay if it takes a while because time is an illusion. Anything, it does not matter if it's just a little bit of delusion or it's a real intense delusion. Delusion is delusion. It's fine. It's fine. Be in the energy of let me see, or like we talked about earlier, I can have peace instead of this. Okay? But not in an energy of trying to push it away. It's more of a seeing. It's more of a seeing. What causes this nauseous numbness in the belly? What causes this sense of emptiness? Let me see. Oh, welcome. Okay, good. Okay, good. Let it be. Then it feels like something is hiding underneath. Something is hiding underneath. Something is definitely hiding underneath. Hooray! Hooray! Aren't we glad? Aren't we glad that this feeling of emptiness or nauseousness has something hiding underneath, and we're not just going to be like that forever. We're not just susceptible to it. We're not just vulnerable to it. Aren't we glad there's something hiding underneath? Aren't we glad that it's just a dream and just an illusion? Since it's just a dream and just an illusion, it cannot harm us. We can just get the full feeling effect. Okay? I do see that I'm much more likely to escape into stories. See, there it is, right there. When that feeling arises, there it is, right there. The escape into stories is doership. It's not relaxed. It's comfortable. It's comfortable to escape into doership because it's familiar. You might mistake that for relaxing. Comfortable for relaxing, yeah? Okay? You escape into stories that numbs down the feeling. That's what's not letting it. You get the intensity. When that feeling arises, I'm much more likely to escape into stories when the feeling arises and take the feeling as real and then close my heart more and go into hiding mode. Like the darkness hiding from the light. Okay, good. Then you know. And here's the thing. You don't have to stop doing that. Knowing is enough. Knowing without resistance. And if there's resistance, that's okay. Don't resist the resistance. You see where I'm going with this? It's almost like take another step back. Relax deeper. Relax deeper. It's all an illusion. It's all a dream. It's okay. Just watch. Observe. Acknowledge. But relax. It's okay. If you get agitated with the agitation, then it's like you're holding it there. You're holding it in your heart. Keep relaxing. Keep relaxing. Going into hiding mode, there's nothing wrong with it. Okay? Still, the question just arose. Is there a way to practice intensifying the feeling? No. No. The feeling will intensify to the extent that you're not interested in pursuing thought. So if you do find yourself interested in pursuing thought, no problem, no problem. Acknowledge that and rest with it. Rest with it. Rest with whatever's interested in pursuing the thought. Rest with it. As it plays out in your awareness, it's like mist being burnt away by the sun. Okay? It's gentle. It's easeful. All right? Going into hiding mode, that's okay. Like darkness hiding from the light, that's okay. But when you let yourself make that meaningful, get into a place of this is meaningful, it's like it's holding it to you. You don't have to do that ever because you always have a choice. You always, always, always have a choice. You can relax a little more. You can always relax a little more. And it doesn't matter how agitated you seem to be on the surface. That's the thing. You could be screaming your ass off and still relaxing a little more. That's the choice you have in each instant. Practice intensifying the feeling. No, definitely don't need to do that. To really fully use the reaction the way it's here for and purify the mind. So it's more of a non-doing, and yes, that's how the mind gets purified, by that reaction getting played out in your awareness without identification. So identification, if you recognize identification, oh shoot, that's identification. Oh yeah, that's okay again. Oh yeah, that's okay. That's okay too. Oh, that's okay too. Oh yeah, okay, it's okay. That's the main thing. Telling someone, okay, so that was the end of that question. And if that person happens to be on with me today, please let me know, or you'd like to raise your hand. I didn't get the questions resolved for you. Raise your hand. If anyone else would like to speak with me about that, let me know. I'm moving on to the next question. Oh, Sativa, this one's for you. And in fact, the last 1, 2, 3 are from you. So if you'd like to dialogue with me, please raise your hand. If not, no worry. Telling someone what made you emotional is basically asking them to agree with your effort to harm yourself. Okay, you said you didn't understand that, so you wanted some more on that. Okay, so say it's your partner, for instance, and it's like, you know, when you looked at that woman like that, it made me feel rejected. Let's go with that one, just for fun. It made me feel rejected. Well, it's not true. It's not even true. So to tell someone that is to have them help you harm yourself. Why? Because it's saying that you're vulnerable to worldly effects, which you are not. There's no way you felt rejected because of the way he was looking at someone. You projected the rejection. You brought rejection to that experience. And that's how that came up. If you believe, if you buy into, and you get some help buying into the idea that your uncomfortable feeling was caused by something in the world, could be them. And I know this is the way nonviolent communication works, and that's okay. Totally okay. It's still harming, you could say, and it's bringing things up a level. It's also helpful. Okay? Wisdom Dialogues is for those who are looking for going all the way to non-harmful, not harming yourself. Okay? Telling someone what made you feel emotional is saying, would you please help me make myself vulnerable here? I'm making myself vulnerable to illusions right now, and I'd like to get some assistance with that. Will you please help me with that? No problem. No problem. That's just what it is. So watch. And you won't be motivated toward that anymore. When you get the feeling of rejection, you can let it intensify instead, because all that's doing is helping you to project it, which is necessary at a point in time. It's necessary to project it because you don't feel as if you can embody that feeling. Okay? So instead of just being quiet and giving them the cold shoulder, projecting it that way, you're finding a way to communicate, almost communicate. It's an attempt to communicate. A way to get some connection through that, which may or may not be a step toward true communication. Yeah. It's all healing. It's all healing. So just watch. When you find yourself telling someone why you're feeling that made me sad. On the plane back, it was the funniest. I had someone sitting next to me that told me they don't fly over Las Vegas. I told them I had come from Las Vegas on this trip. They said they don't even fly over Las Vegas because they know too much about the environment, and they know they should not be seeing all those swimming pools in the desert. And it makes them sad. Of course, I did not argue with the person. Did not feel that there was any opening there to know. So you're in wisdom dialogue with that? I don't know. Talk to Panda because she's cleaning. So it's not like he was interested in knowing, but it's just like, wow, that's just so common to see. You know, of course, that's necessary. Swimming pools in the desert is necessary because people are looking for sadness in the illusion. Looking for it. Looking for something to project it onto. Okay, that'll work, depending on your background. Depending on what your background is, depending on what your conditioning. Okay, that's a good one. That's where I could project my sadness. People with swimming pools, that made it. And then you might tell someone. So when he told me, he was looking for agreement. He was looking for an agreement, and that's it. And this is an energetic thing. So it's not like I outwardly disagreed or agreed. Neither way. It's almost like it's only like, that's interesting. Thank you for letting me know. Even though even those words weren't uttered. I was just like, that's interesting. Thank you for letting me know. If they get agreement or disagreement from you, then that's helping them harm themselves. And this is energetic. It's not so much in the words, the energetic thing. It's like, oh, okay. And then what does Lori say? What the fuck? I can't even imagine why that would make him sad. It just doesn't correlate to me. Well, of course not. Of course not. It's not. It doesn't correlate for you because you use something else to project your sadness. That's all. You use it somewhere else. That's all. Isn't that fun? To find out what it is for you, and recognize that that cause isn't real. It's not a real cause. Cause and effect aren't what they seem. What seems to have caused the unhappiness, what seemed to cause the sense of sadness, is not even there. Dead animals on the road. Okay, there you go. Dead animals on the road. Not there. It's not really there. It's the same as his swimming pools in the desert. All right? So that's why. That's what I mean by that. Telling someone what made you emotional is basically asking them to agree with your effort to harm yourself. Oh, yeah. That's pretty sad. Or, what the fuck? Why would that make you sad? See? Both are agreeing with your effort to harm yourself. Okay. Next one. ACIM, which means A Course in Miracles, for those of you who don't know, says anger without projection is impossible. Can you explain what that means for wisdom dialogues? Looking forward to listen. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, it's the same thing as what we were just talking about. I mean, anger is the same thing. Say it makes you angry, or saying it makes you angry, it doesn't make you angry. It's like you're projecting that thing as if it's the cause of your anger to justify it. But that's not really the cause of anger. All anger comes from believing that you separated yourself from your source. It's existential anger. All anger is like that, and it doesn't really exist. So you need projection. You need to be projecting to get anger. You cannot have anger without projecting it. The eyes that look and find anger are where it's projected from. Why is there projection involved? Why can't you just feel the anger within? Well, you can, and that's when you stop projecting on the projection. Stop projecting on the projection. You get what I'm saying by that? You see, that was fast. Okay, good. Yeah. There's the projection. And then once you see that the projection isn't real, then you're not projecting onto it. And then that makes it just anger. That's what lets it intensify. When it doesn't have a reason, when it doesn't have a cause, when it's not being justified, that's what allows it to intensify. Okay, you got it. Here's a good one. If nobody is really here like this, why are we attracted to certain people? Why do we fall in love? Well, it's a couple of really, really good questions. Why are we attracted to certain people? for correcting the mind, for correcting the errors in the mind. That's the only reason. It's the only reason to be attracted to anyone. You know, it's just immature to think that there is another reason. Not that there's a problem with immaturity, but it's immature and like romantic, stars in the eyes, to think that there's falling in love with that. Oh, this person is so great. That person is manifested for awakening the mind. There's no person there like that. You're attracted to them because there's something there for you. There's something for awakening. Okay? And so if you take it as if, what are you doing? if you take it as if it's like, oh, I'm so in love with this person, it's like making it into what A Course in Miracles refers to as a special relationship. Okay? It's making it into a special relationship, using it for your own special purpose. This romantic kind of, aren't they so great? You know, they're not even there like that. It's not different from the dead animal on the side of the road. But making it into something like that, making it into something that you have to try to keep, whatever, that all that's doing is denying what it's meant to be. Denying what it's meant to be. You can still have all that sensation, falling in love, all that other stuff. It's recognizing what it's for. What it is really for. And then it doesn't get so sticky. It doesn't get so sticky. You don't fall in love with a physical someone. That's not love. That's not even love. It's attachment. Love isn't like that. Love is universal. Yeah, you say, but it's such a powerful feeling. It feels so happy and lovely. And then you experience its opposite. You didn't say that part, but you know it. Okay? That is not love. Love doesn't go from a wonderful, powerful, happy feeling to the opposite. Shit, this is so painful now. First it's all, and then, That's not love. That's called attachment. That's not the same. Love doesn't change. It's constant. It does not change. Okay? You can share that. You can share that with someone. You can share it. And when you share it with someone, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they say or do. It stays the same. Yes, Lori, love doesn't hurt. Love does not hurt. Okay? Thank you. Yay. Yay. Yay, Braun. All right. So if anyone wants to speak with me again, raise your hand.
I'm speaking.
Oh, you're speaking with me.
Hi.
What do you want to do? What do you want to talk about?
Like pillowcases in the washer.
About why your pillowcase is in the washer?
Oh, it's in the washer,
Oh.
but it's not gone.
Oh, good. That's good. All right. So I don't see anyone raising their hand at the moment. I'll go to something interesting. We're having a conversation. Oh, you're raising your hand.
Hi.
Okay, here's a fun one. So I was having this conversation with Anastasia, who happens to be on with us today. So if you would like to dialogue with me, please go ahead and raise your hand. Anyone else, also welcome. Let's see. So I posted something about there being no self-realization within the dream. See, a lot of people are looking for the self-realization, dream self-realization, although not thinking it's dream self, pretending like I've awakened. I've awakened. Yet a mosquito just bit me. That's not it. That's not it. You're still dreaming. If a mosquito can bite you, you're dreaming. If you get tired at night and need to go to sleep, you are dreaming. Okay? If you get thirsty, you're dreaming. If you have to take a poop, you're dreaming. If you have to wash yourself to get clean, you are dreaming. Okay? Just admit it. That's one of the most painful things, to try to pretend like you're awakened while you're dreaming. You're going to know damn well when you woke up. You're going to know really well when you woke up. For one thing, you have a light body. Okay? You have a light body, and everyone else is wide awake with you. Also, a light body. In fact, there's only a very small portion of yourself that seems to be dreaming. A larger part of you is creating, never stopped creating reality. Extending who you are. Extending who you are. Okay? Yes, it's all illusion. Even the real world is full of illusion. That's right. Even the real world is full of illusion. The difference is that those illusions are infallible. They don't die. They're changeful. They're changeful. They don't hurt. They don't get tired. They don't die. They're eternal. They can change. They can appear, disappear, reappear. You'll know. Don't pretend like you're an awakened being, different from other people. Yes, you are an awakened being. Let's say that. The same as everyone else, though. The same as everyone else. This, what you're perceiving, is a dream. And you're not perceiving a dream unless you're dreaming it up. Okay? And there's no one in the dream who's awake. Don't believe it. If you buy into it, you're just shortchanging yourself. You're just perpetuating the dream state. Then it's as if you have something to live up to, and that something is completely false. Okay? There's no death. No death. If you're going like I was this past weekend to a celebration of life because someone's body seemed to pass away, obviously still dreaming. uh, also, no time. There's no time in reality. Illusions come and go, change, everything like that. But there's no time in it. It's just playful, playful, playful. And there's no emotion. There's no emotion in it. There's only pure joy. It doesn't need to be emotion. It doesn't need energy. It doesn't need energy and motion. Pure joy does not need energy and motion. In the dream, it arises as energy and motion, emotion. Okay? It's guidance. It's guidance. It's guiding you. Follow it. Yes, my love.
Okay, so if you didn't go to that celebration of life,
Go
okay,
ahead.
did you probably didn't feel obligated to go,
I felt excited to go.
excited to go.
Yes.
So if there's a family thing
Mm-hmm.
and you're not excited to go,
Yeah.
and you
Well, consciousness probably won't make me go. There's
and
nowhere to go anyway. It's imaginary.
right,
You know, I'm not doing anything. Consciousness is manifesting. But since I don't buy into stuff like obligation and stuff like that, if it doesn't feel exciting to me, it's probably not going to happen.
yeah, okay, so that's not where I'm at, because I'm thinking if I don't go to my parents' 80th birthday party that's coming up, because I had the thought, because I had plans to go camping with two other couples, and
Okay.
my sister sprung this on me for the same weekend, so we
Uh-huh.
had to back out of the camping thing because I'm obligated to go to the family thing since my parents are turning 60, 80, and my sister's coming from Florida and all that.
Uh-huh.
And so it's obligation I'm seeing is definitely part of the dream, and
Yeah,
worrying about what they're going to say or how, because I said to myself, how do I dare just not go
oh,
to
good.
show myself that it is a dream and it doesn't matter whether I go or not.
Well, yes, that's true. And at the same time, you're doing a lot of chit chat and not getting the feeling. So it's like the thought of the obligation comes up. That's the point right there where that is asking to be felt.
Because obligation is guilt.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you need to get that feeling. And as you get the feeling, see, you're identifying as if you have to make a decision there and you don't. You're not making any decisions.
Right.
Those are coming spontaneously. All there is to get the feeling. And then you'll see that the decision comes out of a sense of peace instead of obligation. And it may still be that you are going to that birthday party. That's what feels the lightest. That's what feels what's calling you. Even though it seems like the other one would be more of a party or whatever, you know that everything is for awakening the mind, and you just see where it's led, and that's what happens. That's what apparently happens. It's all just going forth in the mind. But when you throw in without feeling all these ideas about what people will say and all this other, mumble jumbo, and then the talking over it of the spiritual concepts, it's just a lot of noise and not a lot of feeling. See? So as you open up to the feeling, just stop right there at the obligation and feel. Feel that through without thinking about it. Well, and when I say without thinking about it, doesn't mean that thoughts aren't passing by. They are. But watch how you're motivated to follow it. So you're it's almost like you're slowing down and watching all of these things take place on the surface. And then you don't have to make any decisions. The decisions just come of themselves. When my mom first told me they were going to have that celebration of life, I didn't have any sense that I was going to that celebration of life. I was like, oh, cool, Uncle George, awesome, and he's going to have a celebration of life. And then a couple days later, my mom said, this is going to be a huge family reunion. You've got cousins coming from all over the place. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, I want to be there. That sounds fun. And then I found myself booking a ticket,
Yeah.
It's not like it's not like it has to come out of anything but excitement if you're willing to follow your excitement, and that's only in the moment. Following your excitement, all it takes is getting the feeling of everything that's not excitement, and the excitement arises. It's very exciting to say yes or no from that place. They're the same. They're exactly the same. And everything being for awakening the mind. If they want to talk about you, good. That's okay. You can handle that. If you want to talk about that's fine. That's not, if that plays into it, then the decision is either coming from guilt or rebellion, which is also a form of guilt.
Yeah.
So if it's coming from rebellion or guilt, all it's doing is perpetuating illusions.
Wow.
And you might even set up some of your family members to seem like they're guilting you. And you did that just for fun as well.
Oh, lovely.
But all of this is for seeing through it. It's not for doing anything. It's not for getting anywhere. It's not for pleasing anyone. It's all for seeing through the idea that you're separate. It's all for seeing through the idea that you did something to separate yourself from the creator. Because you don't have any opportunity in the death realm. In the death realm, you have no opportunity for this. It's like the construct of time, the form of time is given you for seeing through it. You don't have to waste it. You can if you want. And you know what? Ultimately, nothing's wasted because nothing happens.
Right.
But it's like, how much more do you want to keep projecting dreams?
Right. Because it will just project another dream if it's not seen through in this one.
That's right.
Mm.
And it'll keep on projecting more illusions in this dream, more fallible illusions in this dream, which is all it's full of.
Whew.
Your relationship with all your family will completely transform to where it does not matter what they say about you, does not matter to you.
Mm.
But, you know, in order for it to not matter to you, and you're not just saying that, you have to get the feeling. Okay, what is it like for my family to be saying that I'm whatever I am?
Right.
What does that feel like? Give it to me now. What is that like? Let me have that sensation. You realize that it's nothing. It's nothing at all.
Well, I am worried about seeing the family.
No,
Especially,
you're not.
no?
No, you're not. You're not worried about anything. That's all that is an energy wave that comes up that says, I'm worried, and then you believe it.
Mm.
You're not worried about anything. It's not true. You're not even capable of that. You just have a habit of believing the thought that says you're worried about something.
Mm. Well, it just keeps coming up.
Just stop it when it comes up. Just stop. Okay? I know I'm saying things in a lot of contradictions here, but see, read between the lines. Just cut it. It's kind of like cutting it off. It comes up and says, I'm worried. It's like, no, you're not. With a smile. Because that is meaningless. Because it's meaningless. What does that feel like, though? I'm worried. What does that feel like? Well, I'm worried. No, you're not. What does that feel like? Experience the illusion as such. Experience that meaningless manifestation, feeling manifestation as what it actually is and not what you made it out to be.
Mm. Okay.
Tell the truth, remember? Tell the truth. You can't be worried.
Can't be what?
You can't be worried.
Can't be worried. Mm.
That's not possible. It's just a habit to buy into that thought pattern that says I'm worried.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
Just like nothing is a bummer. Wow.
Just like nothing is a bummer. So as you get the feeling, you start to see that you're really not worried. That's coming as a feeling wave.
Mm.
That's just like saying, I'm worried because of this. It's the same thing we were just talking about with that one about telling someone. So when you tell me or anyone else, I'm worried because of, it's like, I'm feeling like this because of this illusion. That's not true. There's worry. Worry is arising. Let me get the feeling. Let me see. It's not because of anything. And you can't get worried. You can get the feeling of worry, but nothing's really worrying you that's coming from this illusion. They don't have any relationship, actually. Cause and effect are not what they seem.
Okay. I'm gonna have to listen to this one again. Definitely gonna get your rating, your
I have really good attendance on my video. People stay attentive for like hours. Whereas average YouTube attentiveness is what, 30 seconds or something. Mind you, I barely have any subscribers, but from those that subscribe, they listen.
intently.
Intently, yes. Good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. You know, if you are sincere about seeing that there's
Oh,
no
God.
possible way you can get worried.
Mm.
You know, if you're really sincere, you know, you want to see that there's no possible way you can get worried. It'll be revealed to you.
Oh my God, I am sincere about this whole damn thing.
Well, when you say it like that, then
Yeah.
you can tell it's not sincere.
Yeah.
There's no willingness. There's no willingness to rest in it.
Yeah.
There's no willingness to relax. There's no willingness to let things take their course. You know, the opening, the awakening, the seeing through. It's like a flower blooming. You can't force it.
Yeah.
You know, the sincerity is now. The sincerity is a willingness to rest. The sincerity is a willingness when it says, I'm worried because, to just, oh, wait, that can't be right. I could have peace instead of this. Or let me see. But it's a relaxed state. It's a relaxed state. What's coming up not relaxed, that is not sincere.
Okay.
This one stepping back, so to speak, stepping back, sinking deeper into the relaxation. Let the relaxed state be. That's real. That's more true of who you are. Much more true. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. I love you.
Thank you very much.
Yay.
Mhm.
Oh, what was that bong about? I have no idea. Oh well. Ah, so much fun. So much fun today. We are all created perfect. You know, there's this idea that no one is perfect. None of us are perfect. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. That's because there's an unhealed perception, you can say. That's because there's an unhealed perception. So if you doubt that everyone is perfect, if you have doubt in your mind about that, get that feeling. Recognize that it's your mind that needs to be connected, that needs to be corrected. It's your mind. It's only your mind. Everyone is perfect. You don't see them that way because you wanted to see something else. You wanted to see imperfection, have people agree with you that people are not perfect. Oh, I love you, Christine. Thank you. Good night. Yay. The truth is perfection. The truth is we were created in perfection, and that can't be taken away. So it's a matter of allowing the illusion and all of what seems to be dirtying you, so to speak, making you dirty, to just pass. Just pass. It's okay. It's all a dream. It can't do anything to you. When you make it meaningful and make it as if it can do something to you, that's when you're digging yourself deeper and not allowing the feeling intensity to take place. Not allowing things to reveal themselves. It's up to you. You always have the choice. You're the only chooser in your perception. You always have a choice. Remember. So if anyone else would like to speak with me, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to be ending the webinar very shortly. Yay. Oh, good. Lori said, you told your brother that he doesn't have a choice. I'm glad to be back too, Leah. You told your brother that he doesn't have a choice. That's right. There's no choice on what you're going to do. My brother said he didn't want to work, but he felt like he should work, and he didn't know whether he should work or not. And I said, you don't have a choice in that. And I just said we always have a choice. Yeah. There's always a choice, not in this or that, in the illusion. There's only a choice between basically two alternatives. And I've used lots of different words to describe those two alternatives, but it's always the same two alternatives. In this session, I've called it the choice between being open to reinterpretation or leaning to your own understanding. That has nothing to do with whether or not you're going to work, whether or not you're going to shower, whether or not you're going to walk your dog, none of that stuff. See? There's no choice between the multiple things in the illusion, but there's always a choice. Always. Yay, I'm glad you see, and I knew you would. It was just a matter of time. Yay. So, anyone else wants to speak with me, go ahead and raise your hand. I have about 20 minutes left. If anything else comes up, I will be talking about it. In the interim, I will say that we have a wonderful essential oil company called Miracle Botanicals, where we source the finest essential oils in the dream. We source the finest essential oils the dream has to offer. Yes. You know why? Because it's fun. Because it's fun and awesome. They smell and feel amazing. What do I have that's kind of new? Oh, you know what people have been really stoked about is fall leaves. With fall coming up, we have this one called Fall Leaves. It's such a relaxing blend. You can put it, you can smell it, you can put it in your diffuser. It kind of smells like fall. Really smells like fall. I was smelling it today going, no wonder. People have been buying it a bunch. Yay, I'm glad you liked the blend I made for you, Lori. Hooray. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, yeah, that's one of the new offerings. Also, if you're interested in cannabis essential oil, fall is here in Maine. Yay. Fall is not here in Hawaii because it's pretty much the same all year. It doesn't ever start smelling like fall. So it's really fun to have that smell. So that's awesome. If you've ever been interested in cannabis, I just updated our description on cannabis today. If you go to miraclebotanicals.com and type in cannabis, you'll find it. You got to spell it right though. You might want to Google it if you don't know how to spell it. So yeah, check that out. I have a really thorough description about the difference between cannabis essential oil and like CBD oil and stuff like that, including what chemicals are in the cannabis essential oil that's different from any CBD or THC kind of oil, okay? It's not supposed to get you high, but I've heard of people saying that they feel high from it anyway. So yeah, there's that. Then again, you can't really get a feeling off of anything now, can you? Because it's always all a projection. But isn't that for fun? We've projected essential oils in that way. At least a lot of us have. Not everyone, not everyone. I met someone this weekend who smelled patchouli and in my beautiful Cosmic Journey blend that so many people rave about. He smelled it, and that brought up something that was very painful. It was a painful smell for him. So yeah, it's all projected. You can get whatever you want off of it. If you feel led to it, check it out. It's another one that's really awesome. Our patchouli. It's more like the one they used to have back in the 60s. So people who were around at that time and enjoyed patchouli, they're into it. Okay. So yeah, miraclebotanicals.com. Check it out. I also have an awesome newsletter. If you don't see a way to subscribe right away, email me and I'll put you on there. What else? Wisdomdialogues.org is where you can see all of these videos. And if you'd like to join live, Facebook/groups/Wisdom Dialogues. Yay. You could also follow me on Facebook. If you really want to comment, go ahead and friend me up. It helps to email me because I don't just accept all the friend requests, but if you email me and say, hey, I've been listening to Wisdom Dialogues and I'd like to be friends with you and stuff like that, I'm usually like, accept. Okay. Yay. You can also just follow me. If you're not interested in commenting, go ahead and just follow me. That way I can have more friends before I get to that limit. Okay. Thank you. I love you. Yay. And every Tuesday at 3 p.m., it'll be at the same link that you used today, unless that changes. I'm checking out some different options too. So every Tuesday at 3 and every Monday at 3 in person here at Michelle's. And I got a hand again. Yay. Thank you. Okay. Yes, my love.
Oh, I didn't.
Okay.
I,
No worries.
it's still red on my end.
Oh.
Anyway, I love you. And thank you again.
I love you. Thank you too. Until next time.
Oh.
Aloha and a hui ho.